Warning: the following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. This video contains explicit language and will include profanity. Your discretion advised due to strong language. Enjoy Licea podcast.
When you start drinking and steady to climb the funnels of lifetime helping, you've got good friends to keep you out of trouble. The best ones are still drinking with you, and there's no good reason why. Alcohol judgment just don't mix.
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 Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you see me?
Mm-hmm.
Say something. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. There was a little troubleshooting going on.
Right, but I can barely hear you. Why is
Really?
it? Is it me or is it you? Keep talking. Tell
Hello?
me how
Yeah,
about your morning? How was your morning?
It was good. I pretty much getting organized for this. I was thinking I had it set up. I was trying to make
What?
sure I was like looking at the lighting, like in the
Uh-huh.
room. 'Cause I wanted to make sure the lighting and everything was like
gotcha.
legit. I don't know, I think that's important. So
Gotcha.
the angle, the camera.
There we
so
go. Okay,
yeah,
now
thank-
I can hear you. Hey, what's up? My bad, dude. Okay,
Oh.
we're good now. Sorry, it was my end. Something's
Oh,
going
really?
on with my stuff. Happened to me last time where, yeah, the same thing happened for me. But okay, so yeah, it took a little bit to do this, to get this going, but we did it. We did it.
That's true, man. I was in the whole morning. I was like trying to angle the computer that I was using. That was the Mac. I was trying to angle it, like level, just trying to make sure that it's the right,
Right. I do that every time.
Look good, to look good.
Yep.
So it looks like with the lighting and stuff, blinds open, light on, light off, and
Right.
this is what I got.
What was that?
That was my computer.
And I turned my shit on silent too. That's crazy. I'm glad we figured it out because I was worried for a minute. I was like, fuck, but that's weird that Macs don't. What are they called? They're called
iMacs.
iMacs. Okay.
I think they call the iMacs. This is the desktop one, but
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's able to. That function is available. It's a microphone, but it has recording and all that, like the video record and like. I guess it's something in the preferences that I'm not doing right or something.
Right.
Some
It's
type
all
of,
good, bro.
yeah. So I got my laptop.
So how have you been?
Good, man. It's going good.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has. Well, the last time I went there was a few years ago, right? I mean, no.
3 years.
Yeah, 3 years, yeah.
That's a long time. It didn't seem like that long, but it's a long time.
Yeah, time kind of went by. Yeah, it was for your wasn't it for your
Confirmation.
confirmation? That's right.
For my confirmation. Got it done late, but I got it done.
Yeah, I haven't done it. I've never done it. I did my what's it called, the first communion.
Mhm.
But yeah, yeah, but I've been good. How about you?
Doing good. Doing well. Just chilling. Just been chilling. Same thing, work, same thing. Just trying to make it out here. It's getting expensive.
Oh yeah, I imagine this. What, like the average houses are 6, 7, right around that range.
Yep.
And when you went out there, how much was it? Like 3?
Maybe 3, yeah, at the highest. Maybe I don't know. I really didn't pay attention, but I just know that yeah,
going
like there's some shitty ass houses, for like 800,000 out here. But it's because the reason why they're 800 is like they're like by the ocean, like not by the ocean, but they're like 5-minute drives from the ocean. So it's like even like there's some shitty ass neighborhoods.
And just being that close onto the water,
Right. And then it's more about access. Like I think, I don't know, I'm not a realtor. I
yeah,
don't know
the
real
freeways
estate.
and stuff.
You were a realtor, you know all about that stuff, but it's like I have a buddy who has a pretty nice house. I mean, it's probably like the size of your house. It's almost exactly like your house, bro. Or your parents' house. I'm sorry. It's almost just like your parents' house, but it's like driving distance to downtown. Like you don't need to take the freeway. You just take a couple back streets, you're there. I've said this many times on the podcast. People are probably gonna be like, damn, talks about this all the time. But it's not in the greatest neighborhood, but it's just because of its access to like gas lamp and like the bay, you're able to you're able to,
Charge those prices or
it's a
have the
lot of
price.
money. It's a lot
Yeah,
of money.
yeah, the location, right? I mean, that's a very like they use that word location. It's like it makes sense though, you know. It's like your daily living, you know, to work. Um, being close to the water has always been like prime, right? Prime like real estate. It's better weather because it's cooler. But yeah, that's what it is, and it's interesting to see what it does. I mean, what the market does, because it's it seems like it should be some type of an adjustment made, like for the like amount of jobs are out there. Like I'm trying to think about like what like are the main jobs that people are working, you know, like that are I guess certain locations have certain things. Like for instance, here it's like oil fields and like that's like the main like type of industry that is, you know, popular here. Yeah, I mean,
Bakersfield,
right,
oil
yeah,
fields.
like that's something that yeah that's it's known for that, you know, like I think it produces like a lot of oil for like the state and for compared to like other places. But and then, oh yeah, and agriculture also.
Agriculture,
That's another
Bakersfield,
right?
agriculture. Uh, out here, a lot of people work, or at least from what I have gathered in the last
Yeah,
decade living out here, is a lot of people like to work, or people work at the docks. Like that's like construction, like kind of like I guess it would be the equivalent to like oil field workers out there. Like a lot of people gravitate towards like people just out of high school, they're just like to get a good high paying job and insurance and medical real quick. They work at it's called NASCO. That's like a big they hire a lot of people at the docks. They just, like you do like dock work, you just like load up like warehouse stuff, I bet. And that's something that I was considering doing for a while when I didn't want to do Sam's anymore, when I didn't want to work retail. But it's kind of the same thing. So what would you so
yeah,
you're the guy to ask. So you used to work in real estate. Dizzy, my
yeah.
buddy, used to work in real estate. And do you still work in real estate?
I pretty much do. I'm not busy with it, but I have my license. I still am active on like looking up that properties online and stuff, seeing what the market is doing. As far as like being like full time, probably not, but yeah, I still check it out. I just like to keep on like having an eye on it because it's something that's you know I think you know it's a big thing as far as like industries goes. Like as far as like knowing what the values of them are and like just kind of um yeah, just kind of always have an eye on it. But what were you gonna ask me something?
Well, I was going to ask you. So what is your what is real estate like out there? And then what is the I got a lot of questions about real estate. So like my thing is what's the average out there? Houses,
The average
price
house it's in the 300 range.
right now in Bakersfield?
Yeah, I would say
You're
around the 300 range.
fucking
I would have to
kidding me.
I would have to double check, but I feel like that's the average. Like there's houses like
So like
one
half a mil would be like ridiculous in Bakersfield. If you saw a house for half a mil, you'd be like, what?
yeah, it would be like depending on the location, like 2,000 square feet plus, like 3, 4 bedrooms, maybe a pool, like a big yard, like a 10,000 square foot lot, depending on the area, you know the areas that are more popular. That yeah,
Dude.
yeah,
Okay.
and then over there it is pretty interesting, but
It's radical. It's because look, check this out. You've been to where I live. So
yeah,
across the street are houses, and there's
yeah,
that street behind the Riviera. Remember the Riviera? You know the
the
Riviera, the steakhouse, like the bar steakhouse.
yeah the is it a 2 story one or is it?
Did I tell you this already?
I don't know. I don't know if I heard it on your.
There's this okay, maybe you did hear it or I talked to you about it. But yeah, that there's only one 2-story house on that street behind there, right? And it's going currently for 700,000, right? That's I get it, you know, 7. But the craziest thing, bro, is like in the last couple of years since the pandemic, that parking lot right across it's like right across the street.
Yeah,
You could literally walk,
right.
you could throw a stone into that parking lot from the front yard of that house. In that parking lot, bro, has become like a hobo village, like which is
Parking.
fucking crazy to think about. You're selling this almost $1 million home for right across the street from Hobotown. And it's that to me is like, what? Why? Why is that okay? You would think that would bring down the value. I mean, I would assume that
Yeah.
would be.
What's that?
I would assume that would be a reason to bring down the value.
Sure. For sure, that's something that's going on that's in the neighborhood that's, some type of, those type of things that go on in certain locations. They're usually, the values are brought down. But I mean, you're saying they're parked out, like camped out, probably.
Well, there's like people who like make tents and they're just chill there,
Yeah.
like I mean, it's not all the time, but like there's like a little corner that's like behind another house that's against the parking lot, and people will use that fence to like put stuff up against it and like
Yeah.
hang over, like stuff to
Right.
hang over them. Yeah. And I mean, sometimes, and then like during the day, you'll see like a bunch of them will meet up and they'll just have tall cans and just be drinking right there. Like that's the spot.
Yeah, they're trying to find there's only a certain amount of space, and they're finding these, like, there's people that are going through those times, and they're just finding out where they could have some type of shelter in some way that's kind of safe for them. It's unfortunate. It's not cool, to see that. It's never cool. And as far as like affecting the values, well, yeah, that's other factors to it, but like something's going on with that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a lot more of that being around, like, because even, here and all of California, I'm sure people are noticing it, but something, that's something that's definitely showing what the economy is doing. And there's more and more people like that. Those people were probably recently, a few months ago, working at, a job or something, they were probably working at a job. They probably had a car payment, maybe even a house, and they literally have to go to those, right, to that extent, or just try to survive parking their vehicles. And I've seen it too. I mean, it's certain locations here that for sure, like, people are in their SUVs and they're just like parking out like by the parking lots, right? And
Yeah.
the dogs, they have their dogs out, and they
more so now
Right.
than ever before. I feel like
Now-
in the pandemic.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm wondering, like, how are the prices of the houses still, like, because if it's happening to them, it's also happening to people that are even, let's say, in a higher financial like earnings than them. Like, there's probably people that it's affecting them too. Like, what I mean by that is that what type of jobs are out there that are allowing these, people to be able to afford a home, like, at those prices, and how are they going to keep on going up? So it's interesting. It's hard to say for sure what the prices are going to do. I think here in Bakersfield, though, I don't think there's going to be like if there's going to be a drop, I don't think it'll be as big of a drop as here compared to like maybe the more like bigger cities like San Diego or San Francisco or Los Angeles. I feel like people from those areas are going to move here. Like, this is kind of like not the last, but kind of like Central Valley is like the last part in California that could kind of be affordable, like comparing like a single family bedroom, like, high 200s, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, or 3 bedroom, 2 bath, high 200s to 300, and then going like up north 3 hours and it's like 600,000, 700,000, and then we're going south and it's like 600, 700,000. So I feel like people are still going to move here because people want to, people that live in California for most of their life, they probably want to stay in California, and then from there, who knows where they would go. But we'll see. I mean, Bakersfield seems like it's growing. It's hard to tell. Like, it's hard to tell what the house is doing too. Like, the whole economy is kind of, from what I know and from what I understand, like, things are interesting. But
Right.
I guess for us to like try to learn and try to like navigate it into like, like not just protect ourselves, but also like invest in some things, or like to try to, because of the dollar value and stuff, like inflation and stuff. So it's like,
Fuck.
we're holding money, right? Like, that's the thing we do. We try to like see what's going on and like try to like calculate.
So
where to
is it
move.
is it gonna go down? Like, will it go
Houses?
down? These house prices out here?
Only-
Because I'm hoping, like, I don't see it going down. Like, I feel like it's only gonna go up, but it could go down, right? I mean,
it seems like sometimes there's like cycles of this that's happened. In 2008, remember 2008? I had my house and I
Right.
went that cycle. Remember when I had my house and 2008, 2009, the one that
I do remember, but can you tell me, like, not necessarily your house, because I don't want you to get into your financials, but can you can you tell me, please, how does that work? Like, exactly how much did it go down? Like, how much or the normal was a standard back then, and then how much did it go up, and then how much did it go down? Then it was 2004, right?
Yeah.
That's when things started.
Started
they started going up, and everyone sold, and then started buying, and then 2008 it went down.
Yeah, they were starting to buy because the prices were like, from what I remember, because I was actually thinking about this yesterday, and I was trying to like calculate what went on in that scenario, because I was kind of in that cycle of the real estate industry, like the way the loans that were being given, like people were
Right.
getting loans pretty easy. People would qualify pretty easy for like a house, like you remember like the house I had, like it was like not hard to get a
Right.
house, people that just had a certain maybe down payment, or just, so it was the thing with that was like something with the loans, the banks had to kind of get like, they had to it got harder to qualify after that, because basically people were moving money around, buying houses, then taking cash loans out against their house, and then all of a sudden, like 2-3 years later, it dropped like intense.
But could you give me prices? Like what was like the standard house? And then when it like for example, your house, a house like yours, the one you had, how much would they go for when you bought it? And then how much would they end up becoming when you got out of it?
Well, that's what I was thinking right now. I didn't I don't know if it's I just kind of like, I haven't thought about it in a while. So I don't have like the numbers. I would have to like look it up to see, which I kind of want to kind of give you a better idea. But from what I remember, like I got my house, and let's say I got it in 2000 like 6 or 2005, and within like either 2-3 years span, it went up, like basically they did an appraisal on it, and it went up like probably close to like 100,000, like in 2-3 years or something. If I'm correct, I would have to like, I don't want to just be saying stuff like.
Okay, so I just want,
But
I want an I just want an estimate. I don't need exact numbers. I just want to know what the estimated was, because I don't know what's going on now, because I don't know real estate, but I don't know, like I want to look up these houses, like that $700,000 house. I want to look up and see like what was the difference, like what is the difference compared to what it used to be, because I know it's gonna be,
like the percentage wise,
because that to me is like a ridiculous markup to me, for it to be $700,000 for and that house is like in Bakersfield, that house is not worth 300,000. Yeah, that same house. It's old. Okay, it was built probably like in the fucking 40s, 50s. It's old, and even then, you get in there. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, okay, you got 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms, whatever, but they're small as fuck. Considering that lot, they have to be small ass rooms, which is the typical case in San Diego. People are finding out is like there's this guy I used to deliver pizzas to up on this hill that I live on. Nice guy, really nice guy. He ended up he was my age, our age, you know what I mean? He was, and I don't know if I told you this story too, probably, but this guy, we weren't friends, but we became familiar. And, one day I was like, hey man, I gotta ask you a question. How did you get this house? And he's like, actually, my parents, he's like, I work construction. My parents passed away and left it to me. So he inherited the house, and he's like, but it's a fucking shithole. It's a fucking shithole. It's on the top of the hill, and I've been in his. He told me one day, bring it in. Can you just put it on the table? I'll be right out. He was in another room. Cool. I go, and his dining room is like it's a moderate sized dining room, but has screen doors into a little back patio area. There's no backyard. It's a back patio area that overlooks all San Diego. You could see the bay, you could see Coronado. So that house has to be more than $1 million. It has to be over $1 million house just on the view alone, right?
Right.
And you could see all the fireworks, like, and on 4th of July, you could see all the fireworks from SeaWorld, probably from the bay. You could see everything, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like a nice deck area. But he told me it's a fucking shithole because it was made in the 20s, the 30s.
Oh wow.
It has no central air. In the summertime, it gets hot as fuck. In the wintertime, there's no heat. It gets cold as fuck, and it's kind of like attached to the side of the mountain. So it's like it's kind of like it's like you go down. So like you walk in, and that's like that first floor. But then there's stairs that go down So like it's like 2-3 stories, but you go down instead of up, right?
Wow. Okay. Oh, okay.
You go down, right? You go down the house, but it's attached to the side of the mountain. He says when it rains, he has to vacuum the fucking water out of the walls.
Shoot.
So he's like, this place is a fucking shithole. So I'm like, okay, it's worth $1 million, but it's old fashioned. And then the thing that happened recently, since I've been living here, maybe even a little bit before, is that since all this global warming bullshit, or if you call it that, I don't know, just these houses weren't built with air conditioning. Almost half of San Diego probably doesn't have air conditioning, especially by the beach. They don't have air conditioning, but as of late, motherfuckers are having to put them in because it's so hot out here now. It used to be this hot. You used to be able to open a window, turn on a fan, you're good. Not anymore. It's hot.
Huh? Did you notice you feel like notice a change for sure, like since you got there?
Yeah.
Or,
Oh, definitely. There was one day
yeah.
when I was me and my wife went to years ago. We went to it was hot. And we're like, this is we can't do this. We're off, and we decided let's go to the beach and just like cool down. We went, and I swear, bro, you know how you usually go to the beach, like nice, cool wind. It was just
Way back?
like humid. There was no breeze. It was just humid on the beach. I was like, what the fuck is going on right now?
And you guys know that how it is over there, so you would know like this isn't
right. No, but it's almost like Bakersfield, bro. It's hot. It gets hot out here. It gets to like the late 90s, like almost 100 sometimes. And then for out here, it's hot.
So you notice people are definitely putting in AC.
Oh, that's a fact. That's a fact. People are putting in. People don't like, even my apartment right now. It has a little AC that's like built into the wall that's broken. It doesn't work, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like that's all these apartments have. They don't have like a central air. Like in Bakersfield, every house has central air. Right. That's a fact because you need it. There's no way you can live in a house in Bakersfield and not be able to use your air conditioner in the summertime.
That's for sure. That over here, it's like that's a must here.
It's a standard. It's a standard in Bakersfield, but it's becoming a standard. Right. It's becoming a standard here now, but before it was not a standard. So all these houses, most of these houses, they're small. That's another thing I went off. But even then, like a lot of the rooms are small. Like I've seen some houses where like, yeah, okay, 5 bedrooms, cool, but they're small ass rooms, like real small. Yeah. They're old. They're old fashioned.
Yeah. They're real, like, well, I guess it depends. You mentioned the house earlier, like in the 1920s. Well, I mean, that's,
That's before McDonald's, bro. People were small. Now we're all big. I don't know, man. I don't know.
Bigger? People are getting bigger, huh?
Oh, definitely. America especially, and dumber.
And where? And dumber.
And dumber. People are getting bigger and dumber.
Well, that's
yeah.
I didn't expect that, but I mean, I don't know what it is. Well, I do know what it is. It's like, well, I think people are just distracted and they're just like they have to do less, or they're just not as people have to work more back then, I think, and people are just like, there's computer technology, I guess, is making things are easier, so it's making us less to think, use our own brain. We just have to use a computer. Before, people had to remember telephone numbers, addresses, like routes and stuff, like directions. Like now we don't have to have that in our memory that much. We just put on an app and
things are just
way
different.
So it's like a clutch, or right? It's like a crutch, not a clutch, but a crutch. Like having these technologies is kind of like it's definitely more time. Seems like it's quicker to do things, but it's also kind of like our brain is not expanding or like opening those channels of ideas or memory, even with memory, because we have all this information that we're like processing, like the social media, if it's the news, if it's the TV, if it's like music, podcast. That's how I've been noticing. Like before, when I was, before the the phones and stuff, like our mind was like on other things. Like it wasn't like to think like how these things are kind of getting our attention now, like notifications on our phone and stuff. But it's interesting.
Yeah, that's something that is
technology.
Well, like there's a guy I know I work with, and he's really into the stock market right now, and he's always on his phone, like just checking it, making sure, and he's like it goes up, it goes down, like he just like back and forth and like talking about things he should have done, and He regrets
Okay.
not putting, selling, or he regrets not buying. And that's something you couldn't do 20 years ago. You couldn't just be like, I mean, you put in for, I'm sure, I mean, I was 20 years ago, I was, in my teens, but like I'm sure like
It was more of a
you
process.
couldn't just like back and forth change up what you buy or buying. You had
Right.
to, you put in and you had to wait.
Yeah, and you had to jump in a little bit. But I think I don't know exactly, but I feel like they had like brokers. You had to call someone to actually do it for them. Like now people just have an app and they just manage it themselves, right? Like
Right.
before, like you had to call in a number or something, talk to their Fidelity or like broker, and they just make this buy, make this sell, get it. But now we just uh at night in the middle of the night notification like.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's how so people
You-
are and people are making money like that too, and losing, but also making money like just by having a computer and or a phone,
very
right?
access, having so much access. There's so much
Yeah,
access to things, which is good and bad. But yeah, I
yeah,
mean, who knows? And even then, I was talking to Sam. Like, did you see the Sam episode?
yeah.
Um,
I've heard the podcast more than I saw the videos, but
okay,
yeah.
okay. But we're talking about like how would you be able to? How would you if you went back in time? Like, let's say you went to 1920, 1922, okay, 100 years ago, and you had to explain to someone what a meme was. That'd be hard. Like, it'd be impossible almost. I mean, how would you explain a meme? You couldn't.
Yeah,
There's
there's
so many things. TikTok. What's TikTok? Oh man, you get on your phone and what the fuck? What do
yeah,
you
you have to
mean you
start
get
off
on
at
your
the
phone?
basics. What is a phone?
Yeah, you have
What
to
is
describe. You have to go
Wi-Fi?
into all these other things like cell phones and yeah.
Right, because you say, okay, a meme. Well, where do you get a meme from? Like, it be access through a cell phone or through a computer. And then,
Right.
well, what is a cell phone or computer? Well, it's something that connects to some type of what would you call it? Uh, the ether, or like like the
Yeah, the universe. It connects
yeah,
to the universe. Like I don't even know how to
and
explain it.
then
Even right
yeah, that's
now,
good.
I don't even know how to explain it. Like just even the internet. How do you explain the internet? Oh fuck, I don't even know. It's this thing you plug in your fucking computer that,
Wall.
that gives you it's like cable. What's cable? Like, just a whole like
So to
it
try
just
to,
piles on all these like things you have to explain. Yeah, dude, man.
well, that's I mean, it would be I don't know how it would be explained to someone in the 1920s. It would
Well,
be
think about in 100 more years, how it's
oh,
going to
that's
be in
right.
100 more years. Like it kind of explained to us things that are happening out there, unexplainable things, like things you couldn't even explain. Even just 20 years. I mean, 20 years is I
I
mean,
feel like
if in high school, if you told them, hey, told someone 20 years ago what a meme is, it'd be pretty difficult.
and then, yeah,
Uh,
and it does seem like technology is going at a faster pace, and I think it will even now more like than right? Maybe like if from the last 20 years, you think it's gonna go faster than the last 20 years now from this 20 years, right? That's how I see.
maybe,
I think well,
probably.
that's what well the kids nowadays like they that's what they're gonna be like used to, right? Like they're
You know,
the younger, the kids are
what about I remember I was with you. I was probably I don't know if I was with you personally, but I remember I was hanging out with you every day, like after high school. We
for
would hang
certain
out like
time.
almost every day. But and maybe I wasn't there. But we got cell phones at the same time.
But
Like
yeah,
we, you, and Nathan and Cup Dog, Chris, we all got the same cell phone.
that's
Remember
right.
the
Yeah, I
same
do
exact
remember
Motorola.
because it was like something that we were like because it was new, right? Like it was a new thing that we were getting
Well,
into.
cell phones had been out because I remember I had a Nokia. The first one I had was a Nokia Go phone where you buy minutes and you would put it on, and it was a scam because they would always rip you off somehow. Like I buy
Really.
like 60 minutes, like you can buy like 30, 60, 90 minutes. And I buy like the 60-minute one. And then for some reason I would barely talk on it and it would run out. I'm like, well, I guess like it's like surcharges and like it's like a money on an account and it just sucks the money out. You call someone, it takes a little bit of money out. It was a scam. That's why I decided to go and subscribe to at the time was, or make an account with Singular,
Oh yeah.
and that's what I had, Singular, and now AT&T bought them out, and I have AT&T. I never changed
Oh
over.
really?
I've always stayed with AT&T or Singular.
Do you have the same phone number?
No, I've changed my number
Oh,
many times
hold
since
on.
then, but
Yeah, me too.
but
I remember,
I remember we had the same cell phone. We all had the same cell phone. I remember we'd go to Taco Bell. and we would eat, and we would play with our cell phones, and we would download ringtones. We thought we were the
Yeah,
shit.
that was
We get. I remember you had a lifted truck. No, yours wasn't lifted. Was
it
it
was
lifted?
it was a, I mean, it was a higher
It was high.
stance, but it
And I
wasn't
remember you would always say, hey, you should always leave your cell phone on your lap, so you always know where it's at, or you're driving. And we're like, okay. And you're driving, and then you always open the door and forget it was on your lap, and it would fall. You did it all the time. I remember thinking, like, bro, do not put it on your lap.
that's well, you remember that because I know that I remember like those times at that time, but it was because I remember when the phones were very. I don't remember that exact, but I know that you.
Yeah,
you remember it.
And then we made up a word. I don't even know where it came from. We made up the word Feen, Feen. I think it was a play on like drug fiends.
Yeah, I heard it from other people, and I think somehow it like, not that I said it first. It was just kind of like it was probably a word that was probably like.
So we would call each
used
other
often.
fiends. Like if
So,
someone was like, if someone was being dumb or ridiculous, we call them a fiend. Like if I remember one time we were eating chips and I was eating too many, and you're being a fiend. So could being a fiend, a chip fiend.
what did it mean exactly? Because a fiend is right, like someone that's just hooked, like they're just like
A fiend,
they all could be-
FIEND. It would be like a drug fiend, like someone who's hooked on it. But I don't know. I think we made it to where fiend, FEEN, was like you're being an asshole right now. Like you're being a fucking jerk. Like stop.
It could be used for like different.
Or like if like you're like, hey, let me borrow $1. Yeah, you're checking somebody. Yeah, like if someone's like needed like, hey, borrow $1. And you'd be like, nah, you're being a fiend, or you okay, fiend, you know, like I don't know.
It is that. It is that, or someone that's like not able to, someone's having a little too much fun, or they're just not in their right state of mind. Like you kind of got to be like, yeah, like check people.
Yeah, right. You check people, and then man, we'd always go to Taco Bell. We always do fast food. You don't eat fast food anymore?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
You do? Because I remember you were on a diet kick for a while when you came out here.
Yeah, oh yeah, I was I did like vegan diet for I feel like almost like over 2 years. Right? And that's why I went over there, I was trying to find a place, and I went all the way, I forgot where in San Diego to find like this Chinese
It's called pho. It's just called pho.
Oh yeah. Well, it was like the pho soup, I think, probably that I got. Or it was like a restaurant that I went.
Yeah. It's a normal thing out here. It's just called pho. There's a bunch of them. They make a play like there's a fucking. You know, you've seen those?
No.
And like like
yeah. King. Yeah,
so it's like it's spelled like fucking, but it's fucking, you know, like yeah. They do a different ones, but the main, like the one I know of, it's called pho. It's just pho. That's it. There's a bunch of them out here. But you're not on the vegan diet anymore?
I'm not. I stopped that probably a good 3 or 4 years ago. I thought that was it. I thought that was like the meal, the not the meal, but the diet of the like true health. Like I thought it was.
And it wasn't?
Well, not that I go back and forth. Now I just try to find a balance because it's hard to say for sure. Like, and I thought I was onto something, but then it comes out there's like some other, propaganda out there that somehow it kind of makes people, like get into that. Like,
it deterred you from it?
What's that?
Like turned you off? Something you heard turned you off of it?
To stop it?
Yeah.
Well, for me, I felt like it was because there was a time when I first started, like I really, really felt like a lot of energy. Like I was losing some weight, not that I was overweight, but just I started getting leaner. I had a lot of energy. I think that was the biggest thing. And I also started like to get some type of like even clarity, like just kind of like get a different perspective on life. And so it was like, I think a great like detox. But then I feel like after a while, I don't know if it was like a year or even a little bit less, where I just started not noticing those type of like, let's say, those positive things. So it almost started like, and I don't think I really changed that much. Like I ate pretty healthy, but then also there's also like a lot of vegan food that's just like fake meat, like, which is not necessarily, it's processed, so it's like that's not whole foods anymore. So then that also kind of affect, right? Like, so now it's more of a balanced.
Well, like I've heard
one or the other.
like those Impossible burgers.
Yeah.
Like there's supposedly they're really good and they taste like meat, but they're they're vegan friendly. But yeah, I heard that they're really bad for you. Like
That's
they're
all they
not
can.
good for you to eat.
Imagine they're just pretty much right. Then I've tasted those type of burgers before, like, and there was like really have a good taste, but they're not made. They're more processed than a lot of things are. It's like one of the most. They're made in a lab, like in some type of procedure. So it's not in nature.
Right.
So it's like that's where I think people start. That's where it's kind of
Confusing.
a hard thing to. Yeah,
Right.
it is. And then it's like, well, there's still that craving for me. I don't know if it's because that's just the main diet that I've always consumed it. So now I will always not always have those cravings, but so I started, seeking that type of food, like Impossible Burgers and fake meat, and it was like, well, I still have that craving, but it's like not a long, but it's like I try to look back into history and like times of like, well, what did people eat back then? Could they survive on just fruits and vegetables? But then there was a time where they had to just survive on like meat. Like there's certain times where they just. So it's like trying to go back, but it's like it's kind of hard to pinpoint.
Right.
And there's still, I like to research both, like to learn still about that diet. Right now, I just go with the balance with that kind of stuff until if I actually knew what the real diet, like what the healthiest thing would be, that would be easier to kind of like, but it's hard to, pinpoint because there's so much information that going, they contradict each other.
And weren't you on like a no water thing?
Oh yeah, a fast.
What was that?
So, so that was when I was doing the vegan diet, and I think that's why I think I don't. I'm glad I did the vegan diet for the most part because I introduced me to other things like health, like things like procedures like fasting. I think if fasting is something that if someone feels comfortable and they're actually like, it's like a lot of things where if they're feeling it in their mind and they're like feel good about it, then it's a good process to go through. But yeah, I did the fasting like I did a couple like water fast. Like
Tell me about that. Tell me about that because I was trying to tell someone the other day about that and they didn't believe me. But I didn't know. I don't remember it well, so I was like, yeah, I should probably stop talking about it because I don't know. I don't know what happened really. What was the no water diet?
Well, what it is I stopped. The fast is there's a water fast and then there's like a dry fast and then there's even like a juice fast. But basically, like someone could do a juice fast where they just drink fresh juices for a certain amount of days.
That's it. No,
Yeah,
no food, just juices.
Just juices that they just go like whatever fruits the type of fruit that they want to eat, but they go like, and that one someone could go. I feel like a little bit longer, depending on how much they weigh. Because when people weigh a little bit more, they have a little bit extra energy on them. By what I mean by energy, maybe an extra pounds, that could be used as resources. They could go longer on a fast because that's where the body gets it from the. It'll look from my understanding, the fast, it's the body consuming itself and it will consume let's say the fat, will consume like supposedly the bad cells, the toxins before it starts consuming. When someone takes it too far, it starts consuming from the bones, or from like the muscle. Then that's when it could get, from my understanding, unhealthy. So someone that has more weight, they could probably go longer. But that's the juice fast, like fresh fruits and nothing else. Then someone could do like a water fast. And this is just, like I said, it's something that someone, if they want, they have to do their research on that kind of stuff. But I did a water fast, and I usually did a water fast and I did dry fasting. But the water fast,
yeah, what are those?
I went for like, I chose just a certain days, like to basically just go without any food, just water for multiple days. I think the first one I did like 2 days. I only could do like I couldn't handle more than that. Like I was already like.
So what, you would do 2 days in a row where you would just drink water?
Yeah, that was like the first time that I first tried to fast. It was like I could, and at that point I started getting a little like I just couldn't handle it anymore and had to eat. That was the first time, and I'm pretty sure the second time I did a 3-day fast.
Got it.
I did 3 days, but I kind of spaced it out, like I didn't have it that close. And there was even one that I did like, I have it written down somewhere, but like maybe like 7 days of just water.
Jesus Christ.
That was fine, but I didn't realize it. And when I look at my pictures, I look pretty like I didn't look that healthy, but
right. I remember when you came, you looked really. When you came and you were telling me on these diets you were on, I think you were on all 3 of them. They went all three of those diets: water, and then the dry. Which you got. I want to know about the dry as well. And then the juice. No, you weren't on the juice, but you were on the vegan diet. And I
Right.
remember you. I mean, you didn't look unhealthy, but you looked thin as fuck. Like you looked thin in the face and in your arms. I mean, you still had your muscle, but it was just you looked really thin. And I was like, fuck, dude. I thought you were like on crack or some shit.
He's a fiend.
Yeah, he's a fiend.
Look at that fiend.
Look at this feed right here.
But
Walking up.
did you notice because we went to the beach, huh? Is that
Maybe I don't know. Yeah, I think
that's
that's what it was.
Maybe it was just my face because I remember we went to the beach, and I was
Right.
I took off running like a fiend. Well, I don't remember that.
not when you came here, but yeah, we'll talk about that. Well, first,
Okay.
tell me about the dry fast.
Okay,
Please.
the dry fast is I went with no water or no food for 3 days.
3 days. I told someone 2 weeks. And that's why they're like, nah, there's no way. Yeah, I fucked up. See, I always fuck up stories. Yeah, and then they're like, there's no way. And then they're like, I'm like, well, that's what he told me. And you're like, nah, dude, there's no fucking way you can do no water, no food for 2
That was
weeks.
probably the water. It was the water.
The
It was
water.
the water that I did. Well, I don't know if it was 2 weeks. It was probably more like I would have it written down somewhere. It was like a 7 days and
Got
something.
it. Got it. Okay,
Dry
yeah, that's
fast
what it
is-
was.
Yeah, the dry fast. My understanding, there's different information, but I think I don't know if it's considered a record. I don't think people do it like that because I don't think it's about breaking records. It's just more like how someone feels. But I did 3 days of like dry fast, which I feel like it was even like compared to like the water fast, I felt like it was more intense like than the water fast. It was harder to like on my either on my body or my mind. Like so it was kind of
Of
like
course, bro. Of course. 3 days, no food, no water. Of course. That's like hardcore. You have to be mentally ready for that. Cause that's like survival. Your body kicks in probably survival mode where it's just like, bro, what the fuck are we doing here? Like we gotta eat something. We gotta get some nourishment. You know what I mean? That's like people in the desert, who are stuck in the desert, can't get out, or stuck in the mountains, and that's scary.
it was. I mean, it was challenging for sure. Like I was like, I remember like being outside in the grass, like laying down, like looking up, like kind of like not in the like a delusion. But it was definitely something going on in the mind, and either I was just basically in starvation mode, and it was like my mind was, trying to tell me to eat, and it was I find it like there was a reason for it. Like good thing that I stopped when I stopped, and I didn't, because I feel like people could probably get a little too out of hand.
Definitely.
I could see, right? Like I could see how people could like just get too like it's sometimes too much. So that's why someone has to be maybe like
Well, that's something
has
that
to-
something
what's
that
maybe I need to watch by or something.
you ever seen Breaking Bad?
A little bit.
Oh, okay, well the main character, Walter White, the main character, he did that. He did, but he ended up saying, like, they asked him how he got so thin on certain, because he had cancer on the show, so there's times when he had to look like really thin, and he would do that to himself. He would not eat or drink anything for days. But when people would ask him when he was shooting, like what are you doing? He wouldn't tell anybody because he didn't want to influence people to do this, because he's like, it's not for everybody. Like everyone can't do this. This is just something I want to do personally. I'm doing it because I know this is the quick way to make me look this way. And he ended up revealing what he did later, but at the time he wouldn't tell anybody. But he ended up telling people, like, after the show ended, he's like encouraging people, do not do what I did. Like, it's dangerous, and everyone can't handle that. He knows where to take his body. He knows his body's limits. I mean, maybe he didn't. Maybe sometimes he didn't, and he went too far. Or that's why he doesn't want to share it, because he doesn't want people to get hurt. But I thought it was interesting.
That is, and that's true. Also, because he's probably very
Influential.
What's that? Yeah,
Influential.
like people will do what these people are doing, right? Like
Celebs.
What's that? Yeah, like
People follow everything they do. Yeah.
Yeah, and then either it's so that was probably for him, like specifically, like he didn't want to say it, like because he didn't want people to. Yeah, I think it's each person. They have to feel good about what they're doing, and then like in control of themselves, and like actually, I think that's what most people would do if they were going to try to do that. I don't think they would do it if they just watched like one thing or just kind of like heard somebody do it, they would probably, it had to be convincing to somebody, you know, to actually do it. Like,
Some people are crazy. You never know. People are fucking crazy. You never know. So let's we used to when you had that house, back to the house, you had that house. It was a 5-bedroom, 4-bedroom house, and you had no furniture. You were living in that shit for like what, 2 years? And you fucking like we would go there every night,
and
smoke weed,
art.
party, and we would play Guitar Hero. We would just do dumb stuff, bro. I'm probably gonna cut this out, this part right here, because I don't want to incriminate you. I remember one time, bro, um, your brother was staying for the weekend or some shit, or a week. Your little brother, you remember that? And bro, and
We're,
you
we're like acrobating.
wait, but before he came over, you told us, "Hey man, my brother's gonna be staying here for a couple days. I don't want him to know I smoke weed." All right, I'm not gonna say anything, but you're like, please don't insinuate. But this fool's doing homework in the kitchen, and we're doing we're trying to fling people across the room like a slingshot. Like you and me are holding Nathan, and we're just trying to like fling him. And then like I go over, and I sit there and I'm talking to, because I haven't seen, I was friends with your brother. I mean, I haven't talked to him in
Yeah,
years,
yeah.
but like I was familiar with him, and I talked to him. I went over. I don't want him to feel like outed. So I was like, yeah,
Yeah,
what's up, man? I'll go over there and talk to him. While just between, getting a drink or whatever in the fridge.
that's
I
right.
talked to him, and he's like, yeah. And we're talking, and then he's like, he looked at me and he goes, do you smoke? Do you smoke? Are you smoking too? And he knew. He fucking knew. He goes, do you smoke with like Jared, like my brother does? And I'm like, sometimes, yeah, sometimes I dabble. But it was just we were all like just goofing around. It was so bad, bro. It was so bad. Hey, and should we even talk about your roommate?
Well, I
No,
mean,
probably not, huh?
you don't have to say it. I mean, it's well, I have, you know, my roommate that was staying. He was renting a room for me, and
Probably cut this
so
out
would
too.
be part. Was that?
I might have to cut this out too because I don't want to die.
Uh, well, that we don't have to. We won't say any like specifics necessarily, but yeah, I mean, my roommate would when we were right, we were like hanging out, like all of us as friends, like, you know, partying, like, and
He'd come down and hang out with us every
yeah,
once in a
yeah,
while. He was a nice guy.
yeah, he was, um, and
And I'd always
it was
mispronounce
able
his
to be
name on
himself.
purpose. I'm
What
sorry.
is it?
He was
He was kind of, he was still kind of reserved though. He was like, even though like he would talk to me, like, you know, like he was still, you know, doing his thing, but also I would do my thing also. So it was kind of like a mutual thing where we weren't like
right.
necessarily like um when he came down, like we were all
I
he walked down
remember
the stairs and we were like in the
his name was his name was Jeff, but I would call him Geoff to his face too. It was so bad. What's up, Geoff? But anyways, this guy, nice guy. And I remember one time we were smoking, and he came down. And he's like, "Hey, he's offering to give us money, like to smoke him out." And it was Jimmy's weed. Remember Jimmy? And he's like, "Nah." And then he just like turned around and walked away, and we're like, "What the, like what?" It was awkward. Like he just denied him like that. It was really
it
awkward.
was, yeah, it was I mean, who knows what state of mind, even myself, I didn't know. I mean, I don't know if I, you know,
Bro,
just kind of like being aware of like what my surroundings and what was going on.
yeah, I'm cutting this part out for sure. Anyways, yeah, cut it out. Yeah, he murdered people. He murdered his parents years later. That's scary.
I'm not laughing at that, but it is
No, I know.
it's
Yeah, it's
interesting
not
how
funny, but I'm smiling the whole time. I'm smiling too, and it's like I'm not shouldn't be laughing, but it's just it was crazy. It's crazy, crazy time,
well,
crazy
yeah,
place.
because that's like it was someone that we like know, and it turns out that he's a few years later, his mind. I feel like he probably went on a different mindset for sure. To from then, like I don't think he was that in that mindset then, and then something
Right.
happened to him, either trauma or, you know,
Yeah,
abuse,
unfortunately.
right? Like some, I feel like age or something. But yeah, that's part of, yeah. It's interesting to reflect on that kind of stuff. And
Right. But yeah, man, fuck, that's sad, scary stuff. Good guy though. I mean, not maybe not a good guy. Not he's not that good of a guy. But
More like yeah, it's like
my experiences with
right,
him were
right.
okay. But yeah, I mean, apparently he's you know murdered his family. That's not an ideal situation. Fuck, this is bad. I'm cutting this out. Anyways, I'm gonna have to wrap this up, man. I got
Yeah,
kid is up and he needs to eat.
right.
But I apologize for all the technical difficulties earlier, and I appreciate you for doing this because this is a huge. I mean, you're doing me a huge favor with this.
I'm enjoying it, man. It's cool to be on
Yes,
your.
thank you for being a guest, and thank you for being on the show. And one of the things I want to get with you on is we should. I apologize for. I was hoping to have more time with you and to talk with you, but
Oh,
a lot of things happen because one of the main things is I found out last night that we're pregnant again. So that's why I was celebrating late. And yeah, it's
oh,
so that's why I had to push it this a little bit more because it was just like
really? That's
yeah.
cool.
So I'm super excited and
Congratulations, man.
well, thank you. But
Yeah,
and I'm telling you the first person
exciting.
I've told. So I haven't told anybody. And then on top of that, like we don't know, we shouldn't be saying things to people yet because there's a chance it might not stick yet. So we got to make sure, So
Sure, man. Congratulations, man. It's exciting news.
thank you very much.
Wow, I didn't expect that actually. I was wondering what you were going to tell me because you told me like
Yeah, I was gonna tell you, but I didn't know where to fit it in. I didn't want
that
to.
something happened like in the neighborhood or like
Oh no.
like
I was stayed up late
stayed up
celebrating,
later.
so I had a late morning, so
That's well
so
deserved.
my fault.
That's good. Cool, man.
All right.
All
Well, thank you and appreciate your time. Maybe we can do this again. Hopefully we can do this
Sure,
again soon.
Yeah, definitely. It was a good time, man.
Good catching up with you. I will see you later, bro.
All right, Joey.